Welcome back. Well, you're with us on Corporate Trader, and the next discussion is on the auto space, which has been really revved up of late. At least the stocks are, moving higher and higher. EV is in focus. Ola Electric and M&M both have come up with new launches, but the global EV market has been facing a slowdown, especially in US and in Europe. Even in India, EV penetration remains fairly low. So what are some of the key issues to tackle? What's the way forward for the Indian EV sector? We have with us Hormazd Sorabjee, editor at Autocar India, as well as MP Shyam, managing director at Akshaya Motors. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. So, Hormazd, I actually want to start with you to understand the market is getting suddenly very excited about Ola. On one hand, obviously, Ola has been promising that they're going to fix their after-sales service and have a better sort of after-sales network, etc. On the other hand, they came out with these two new launches at far more aggressive pricing. Is this some sort of a turning point, or maybe this is just the stock market getting a little ahead of itself?
Well, I mean, I think, looking at it long term, I just think it's perhaps, you get these, let's say, surprises from Ola from time to time. And of course, these prices are absolutely fantastic, really have the potential again to kind of, let's say, turn the markets on its head, 40,000 rupees, as you said over there. So very, very competitive pricing. But, I think, again, it's more a case of buying market share. I think long-term profitability is still an issue. For me, Ola is a company that isn't very quality centric. Just that's the company ethos right now. We've seen it from the customer complaints as well. I also don't see any fantastic innovation coming out of the company. Quite honestly, we've got other competitors now getting into the space. We've had Honda, who's launched the two products, one again with a swappable battery and one with a fixed battery. So, but of course, I think, Ola, you have to hand it to them. They have the scale. They are the disruptors in this space, and they will continue to disrupt. But I think long term, it's going to be the companies with the right quality, the right engineering base, and let's say fundamental engineering credentials. That's really going to make the difference. So and you can't rule out legacy players like Bajaj Auto and TVS as well, who are slowly chipping away in this space. But yeah, I think this is really a very interesting and exciting offering from Ola, no doubt.
Hormazd, just to follow up on Ola, you raised concerns on whether they can be really quality conscious or not. Just on the pricing, what they're talking about now, this price point of roughly 40,000 to some models going up to 60,000. Does this look sustainable? Because what the company's been saying is that we're going to be making the battery packs internally. That's how we're going to save cost, and then that's how we'll pass it on. So how convinced are you about this? And again, the same question, is it a turning point or is it too early to tell?
Well, I think, it's too early to tell in my view, because, there are certain costs over there. And, the battery pack, yes, it is one component, but it's not the one component that makes all the difference. It is a very expensive part of it. And I think, we will be seeing technologies evolving as well. Right now, they are doing the 4680 cell, which is a good cell, actually, is what Tesla also use. But I think, this technology is evolving very, very fast. And over here, it's not necessary that someone who has a first mover advantage, could benefit, because we've seen, I think in this space, the battery technology, I mean, eventually people are even talking about solid state. That's still a long way off. But chemistries are evolving, form factors are evolving. So I think I think everyone will have a game plan. It's not that you can't come into, can't get into cell manufacturing. I'm sure a lot of companies do have that plan. And again, it's the Tata Motors scenario, which, if you coming to cars, they've had a fantastic first mover advantage. And now for the first time, that seems to be threatened with the new four-wheeler EV launches that are coming up.
Okay, let's bring in Mr. Shyam into this discussion as well. Mr. Shyam, your quick thoughts on Ola, and then we'll move to the other launches. I mean, M&M, that's the other big one.
I completely agree with Hormazd's view on quality being a major aspect, which probably Ola has to look at. Price is one aspect of it, but the consumer also looks at, how the quality is, how will the vehicle perform. Because whether it's a two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, or whatever product a consumer buys, he will see he will look into the quality aspect of it, and he will also speak to people who are already using it. So if the experience is bad, he's not going to buy it. He wants a robust vehicle, which is should be value for money, but at the same time highly quality in nature.
Okay. Hormazd, to the larger point on EV penetration in India and adoption in India, I think a fair amount of chatter has been there on lack of charging infrastructure, affordability of vehicles, and now we are seeing this big splash from Mahindra and Mahindra. So where are we, and what do you see ahead? Just increased EV penetration. Do you think M&M is going to be a turning point when it comes to adoption here in India?
I think, it's not just M&M. We've got a lot of new launches next year. In fact, 2025 could be the year of the EV because you've got Mahindra, you've got Maruti, Suzuki coming out, the market leader coming out. You've got Hyundai coming out with the Creta EV. Then you'll have Toyota following it up with another EV. You've got MG also, which has got a couple of EV launches. All this is definitely going to grow the market, despite the hurdles in charging infrastructure, which is turning out to be the single biggest problem right now. We've seen the pricing. Mahindra have given some shock pricing with their B6E, which is, okay, they've given us the base version with a smaller battery pack. But again, we've seen, it's very competitive as far as, an ICE vehicle goes. And don't forget, in SUVs, it's much easier to achieve cost parity because the delta in the GST is huge. At the top end, it goes up to around 48%, whereas you just have 5% for an EV. So to bridge that gap, that gap kind of really narrows the on-road price. Plus, you have the local taxes as well, which are waived off in the case of EV. So I think, all this is going to really enhance, or let's say stimulate the EV segment and the market. And quite frankly, also, there hasn't been enough choice. You've just had Tata Motors, which has done a fantastic job, actually. They've kind of laid the kind of foundation, done a lot of groundwork for the EV market. And, they've ruled it. But I think now for the first time, there's going to be some serious competition. And I think, customers are going to have some fantastic choice. And that might kind of, let's say, override certain concerns of charging infrastructure. You might, the products can be very appealing, where you say, okay, charging infra, I don't mind taking a little bit of pain, because quite frankly, once you drive an EV, also very few people want to go back to an ICE vehicle. So I think 2025 looking overall good for EVs. My estimate is, sales will be 2.5 to maybe even 3x of what we have right now, because even Tata Motors themselves are going to be launching a whole bunch of products like the Sierra EV, the Harrier EV. So it's going to be the year of the EV 2025. And I think that's really going to take the market a big leap forward.
Hormazd, hi, morning. Prashant here. In terms of choice for consumers, will Tesla be in the lineup?
No, I don't think Tesla is going to be coming for a while, is my view. I think, Elon Musk has got other priorities right now in the US.
Not with the manufacturing setup here, but with Trump by his side, better sort of, negotiation. I mean, just to sell cars, not to set up manufacturing here. I mean, do you think that's a possibility?
Well, it could be a possibility, but it will be very low volume. I don't think he'll make a dent, because really to be competitive and to address the mass market, you have to be locally manufacturing products over here. We've seen how that's the only way forward. A classic case is what Mahindra's done. Almost a lot of the bits are localized, except the cells, the motors. Otherwise, everything has been done in-house. The entire battery pack actually has been designed and developed in-house with, blade cells. So clearly, that's the only way to really get cost competitive and get the prices right down to an ICE vehicle, where customers will be tempted to kind of ditch their ICE vehicles and go in for EVs, despite the charging challenges.
I'm thinking of buying a car, and for the first time hearing Hormazd, I think I really need to test drive some of these EVs and hold on to that ICE decision. You've completely convinced me, Hormazd. But Mr. Shyam, final words with you. Who would be the car makers or the bike makers to watch, you think, this year, as we look at increased EV adoption in the country?
There are like Hormazd said, there are going to be 19 new launches in the year 2025 as far as EVs are concerned. And the big ones are going to be from Mahindra and Tata's. And in the luxury, it's going to be Mercedes and BMW. And in the two-wheelers, it's Honda, Ather, and Bajaj.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you very much for the views there. Hormazd, great talking to you as well. Thanks as always. And we look forward to how 2025 rolls on. Hormazd says it's going to be the year of the EV. All right. With that, let's come back to